Alright, this is video number 19 in a series of videos where we're building an FPS game in Unity 2017 for Android mobile devices. Okay, so far we've been working on our guns, okay, and we have now got ourselves three types of gun, and they can all shoot, okay, and we can change our guns. And we can fire our guns, okay. They all have different fire rates, and they all apply different forces, amounts of force to the object. Okay, so they're all kind of unique in one way or another. Okay, good. But we still have one more thing we need to do with these guns before we move on to something else, and that's this. Okay, so if we walk up to an object, okay, any object, okay, as you'll see, the gun starts to disappear inside that object, even though we haven't entered it. The object, the gun disappears. Okay, so just to show you over here, because that was on the this object is on the can shoot layer as well, so it doesn't matter what layer it's on. As you can see, we've got this gun disappearing into the wall effectively. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to solve that problem. And I know we've been doing a lot of stuff and writing a lot of code lately, but in this video, pleased to say that we don't need to write any code to do this. What we need to do is set up an additional camera. Okay, so there are other ways of doing this, but the way I'm going to show you I think is the easiest to understand, and it's a way that I use, and I haven't had any problems with it so far. Good. So all we need to do here is first of all locate our gun, locate our camera. Okay, and our camera is on our player first person character. Okay, here. Now this is the first person character that comes from Unity standard assets. Okay, so if you haven't done the previous videos, just locate this this camera here, which is here. Okay, good. Now as we can see, we have here our camera. Okay, and it's displaying here, if you have a look, everything. Okay, right, everything on every layer. Okay, this particular camera is displaying everything. All right, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a second camera. Okay, and what we can do is we can right click on there and create camera. Okay, right, and we can call this one camera gun or guns. Okay, it's up to you. And this camera is only going to look at these guns. Okay, so let's have a look at this. We don't need another audio listener because we've already got one, so we'll remove that. We don't need a flare layer, we can remove that. Don't need that, don't need that. And here we for example, we don't need it to look very far. Okay, so we can just literally put that down to 0.1. Again, right, as small as it can go. Okay, and we'll set this far distance in a moment. All right, but we're going to start off with it here. Okay, good. And here our perspective and everything, we can deal with that in a moment. Now we don't want it, we only want this camera to look at this gun. Okay, these guns. Alright, so what you need to do is for your guns you need to create a layer. Okay, so like add layer here, and you can see here I've made a layer called player gun. Okay, now you need to do that as well. So create a layer called player gun and put all of your guns, everything, the flashes, the whole lot, everything that we made in the previous videos, put all of those things onto the player gun layer, okay, that you just created. Good. Now this gun here, this new camera that we've made, we only want it to see the player gun. Alright, everything on the player gun layer, which is the different types of guns and the flash, muzzle flash and things like this. Okay, so here we go, culling mask is nothing, and then choose player gun. So this is only going to look at the player gun, and if we and also we don't want it to look at anything else, so we can say depth only. Alright, so this thing's only going to look at the player gun. Now if we're looking up here, it's because we can't see, this is what we can see with this new camera. Okay, so before we do anything, we're going to check what the depth of the previous camera is, and it says 1. Okay, we want our gun camera to render on top of this, so we're going to put it on layer 2. Okay, let's look at our window. Still can't see anything, so what we're going to do is we're going to start to crank this up. Okay, and we'll get to a point where we can see our guns. Okay, so as you can see, it's probably about 2 is good enough. Okay, yeah, so we're looking at this from very, very close up, 0 point as close as it can go, out to about 2. Alright, okay, because this camera is only looking at these guns, doesn't need to look at anything else. Okay, and that's it. Alright, now what we need to do now is, because we go back to our original camera, we don't need this to look at the gun anymore, because we've set up a camera specifically just to look at the guns. Okay, so here what we do is we come to culling mask and we unclick the layer player gun. Okay, so if we look in this window up here, we can see what this camera is seeing. This camera is seeing everything apart from the player gun, and this camera is seeing nothing except the player guns. Okay, but because we're laying this camera on top of this camera, it looks in the scene view as though it's all from the same camera, so to speak. Right, so it's kind of like a little illusion going on now. And you know, if we want to, we can mess around here and we can change the, we can move our guns into different the field of view. We can mess around here independently of what's going on in the scene, so that's kind of nice. That might be useful every now and then. Alright, but for now we'll leave it at default 60. Okay, here we've got a value of 70. Okay, right, for argument's sake we'll put it down to 60 as well. Okay, but you can change this around. Alright, so here, okay, and the one on here. Okay, so it gives you kind of a little bit of flexibility there. Nice. Okay, so make them both the same. Okay, don't need to, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, and let's have a look and see what happens. Okay, so what we're expecting is now, you can see you can still fire the gun, it still works even though it's on a different camera. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to walk up to this box, and look, the camera is not going through the wall. See that? It doesn't matter what we do, even if we walk straight through this box, you can always see that camera. Okay, so it's never ever going to get lost in a wall or anything like that. And it still works. There's nothing wrong with this gun. Okay, still change them, still doing what they're supposed to do. Alright, and that's about it. That's all you need to do. So no coding required. Set your camera up. Make sure that the gun camera is rendering on top of. It's got a depth greater than the camera for everything else, and then just crank out the clipping planes so as you can see your guns. Alright, good, brilliant. Okay, hope you learnt something. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you like the video, please give a thumbs up. See you in the next video.